Box office Star Wars Rise of Skywalker is the first billion-dollar disappointment. Boo-hoo. Here we see it, bounding to comics, and as you can see, Forbes also reports the same thing, that Star Wars Rise of Skywalker is actually a disappointment. Alright, so it's gonna hit $1 billion, but for a Star Wars movie, and Christmas season, and the 9th film in the saga, it's not that great. Rogue One, apparently, is probably gonna beat this thing. Let's take a look at a few details. Star Wars Rise of Skywalker is wrapping up its 4th weekend at the box office, and the film has still failed to reach the $1 billion mark in worldwide grosses. And I think by the end of the complete run it will hit $1 billion, but that ain't such a good number. For all intents and purposes, the film is being labeled a box office disappointment, with it possibly not even hitting conservative projections for its final domestic gross. Box Office Tracker Box Office Pro initially predicted the film would bring in between $185 million and $225 million in its opening weekend, and the film failed to hit the low end, only bringing in $177 million, according to the numbers, whoever that is. From there, the numbers get even bleaker. Box Office Pro predicted the film would end up grossing between $550 million and $750 million in its entire domestic box office run. However, Forbes is now reporting the film won't top Rogue One, a Star Wars story total domestic haul of $532 million. The Rise of Skywalker is currently grossed only $478 million. Is this article old? Nope. January 12th. Felt old. Felt like that was like the first week or something. But it's not. They said the 4th week. It's kind of low. Feels like this thing is old, like it should be ahead of where it is now, but apparently it's not. They also go on to say here that Scott Melton, one of the bigger shows of the industry, is saying that it had an advantage over Rogue One because of the holiday season, and that's undeniable. During the Christmas season, movies, I'll say, traditionally do better. Alright, a little bit of a butchered dialogue there, but we're going to just continue. Mendelsohn is not the only one declaring Star Wars Rise of Skywalker the first billion disappointment, because this site is too. And Keith Nolan at financial website The Motley Fool declared the film a disappointment following its opening weekend take, already seeing the writing on the wall. And we saw the writing on the wall, like, I don't know, 2 years ago, since The Last Jedi. You know, when The Force Awakens came out, we couldn't really predict how bad it would go. It seemed like it was going to go maybe okay. Seemed like it was going to go really good if The Last Jedi was good. So, you know, let's say from the point The Last Jedi kind of settled in, you know, we had a feeling that it wasn't going to really pull it off. Well, I actually said I had a 90% feeling it wasn't, but 10% it might. You know, there was always that little glare of hope. There were a few possible ways they could have, you know, kind of rebounded, but they didn't. They said, and we know, Disney didn't succeed at building an audience for the franchise in China. I wonder whose fault that was, Rose Tico. Let's read a quote here that we already know, but, you know, I really believe in beating the dead horse, and the internet is just, you know, a whirlpool of information that blinks in and blinks out in a second. So what we said like a year ago or 6 months ago or yesterday might be gone at some point. So I believe in just repeating this and beating it in to whoever's listening that this franchise here is not what it could have been, and it's not what it should be. It seems more likely that many fans lost interest in the world of the sequel trilogy because they were unimpressed with the quality of the output, and this spilled over into merchandise and theme park performance. Galaxy's Edge, looking at you. Yeah, you could see here, I mean, Poe and Finn are okay characters by concept. Actually, Finn's great by concept, but they just really look cheesy here. They just don't look like Star Wars. This doesn't look like Star Wars. You know, even Chewie kind of looks a little odd here, you know? I mean, if this was a different background and a different sci-fi movie, it would feel absolutely nothing like Star Wars. That's the problem. Is, okay, a few things felt like Star Wars, especially The Force Awakens and Rise of Skywalker, as far as like background and, you know, aliens, and a few tonal things were okay, but all in all, the characters, the human connection in this movie did not feel like Star Wars, and that's going to bleed over to the fandom, and it's going to hurt the franchise. So right here, Star Wars Episode 7, Force Awakens had 6.8. I guess, yeah, it's pretty fair. Like, I hated The Force Awakens, but, you know, there was nothing so wrong where we couldn't move forward and continue. I think that You know, I've said 100 times or more that Rey beating Kylo really ruined the movie. I didn't like what happened to Han, but overall, it had a pretty solid ABC point as far as the plots. It did its job. It felt like Star Wars. It kind of made it feel like Star Wars was back a little bit. You know, like I said, I hated it when you kind of think about it in detail. But, you know, if The Last Jedi was good and The Rise of Skywalker was good, then, yeah, you know, I would have been like, okay, it's like an acceptable beginning, and then it gets better and better. Last Jedi 4.4, way too high. It's like a -4. Then Rise of Skywalker here, 5.0. Just kind of a meh. You know, like, alright, for me, the ending really destroyed the movie, and the fact that Rey has to beat Kylo again, and the healing stuff, and, you know, a lot of the details, the Wayfinder video game quest storyline in the beginning we had to sit through, you know, all that kind of stuff. But if the ending was good, if the ending really, like, blew it away, and I was like, yeah, that makes sense, it would be better. So I guess, like, a 5 is a fair score for, like, the average moviegoer. But, you know, it's just, kind of pitiful. Anyway, you guys let me know what you think about this down below. I've been talking fast all night. As you can see, everything Star Wars. Shout out to my buddy Rob. You know, he gets around here, leaves me some comments, and I don't have time to get to as many of his videos as I want to, but I have 3 kids and I think he has less, so I got a good excuse. Do another shout out. I'm gonna give a shout out to Binge Think, and he's actually got almost 1,000 followers on Twitter. Good job, dude. So there's your shout out, and yeah, give me one, because look at that, almost 1,000 followers on Twitter. Awesome. Anyway, click that subscribe button if you haven't. Press it, smash it, whatever you gotta do. Get subscribed. I'm doing Star Wars, Marvel, Captain Marvel 2, pop culture, stuff like that. And I screw up endings. I'm gonna shut up now. See you next time.